What's going on, guys? Graham G.S. Matthews here with WhatCulture.com, and coming out of Final Battle, Ring of Honor's final pay-per-view for the foreseeable future. We got Terminus coming up on January 16th. We got a lot to talk about here today with the masterminds behind Terminus, the Ring of Honor World Champion Jonathan Gresham, and his very notable name business partner. You've probably seen on AEW Dark, among many other places, Baron Black. Baron, Jonathan, what's going on today, guys?
Hey, what's going on? Just getting out of training for me.
So we got a lot to talk about here today. Like I said, we got Terminus coming up on January 16th. Like I said, Final Battle just wrapped up a few short weeks ago as we speak right now, right before the holidays. Coming up specifically on Kroc Center, Atlanta, Georgia, 6 p.m. Sunday, January 16th. Jonathan, there's been a lot of questions as far as what's next for you. We know what's next for you. Alongside Baron, we got Terminus coming up on January 16th. For those unfamiliar, and you're probably living under a rock if you haven't heard of it yet, can you talk a little bit about that and what it's all about?
You're asking about Terminus, what it's all about.
Yes.
Oh man, well, Terminus is just a brainchild of my friend Baron and I, and it's all about basically bringing wrestling back to Atlanta. When we were growing up and training and wrestling here, we always had to go to Alabama and Tennessee and South Carolina. There was never really wrestling here in Atlanta, and to my knowledge, wrestling used to be really hot in Atlanta. Atlanta was a hotbed for wrestling, and I just wanted to be that again. And that's something that Baron and I would speak about all the time when we're on the road, is how hot wrestling used to be, and we want wrestling back in Atlanta. And I think it's an untapped market, and we're looking to strike gold, I guess.
Yeah. And obviously you guys are billing it as the kind of return of modern age grappling, something a little bit different than what we've been seeing from all these other various promotions right now. Barry, can you talk a little bit about your involvement with Terminus and what you're looking forward to people seeing with this event come January 16th?
I'm excited about literally everything. Like you said, this is really a project to revitalize the historic wrestling city that is Atlanta, Georgia. Used to be a hotbed for wrestling. Back in the NWA days, territory days like that. And we want to bring it back to that. It hasn't been that for a very, very long time. There's a lot of wrestling fans in the Metro Atlanta area. And a lot of them really have not been knowing that independent wrestling has been going on. Outside of the stuff they see on national television. So I always wondered, going back and looking at old tapes of NWA at the Omni and all this other stuff that was going on and back in the days. And I always wondered, where did all those people go?
Yeah.
Because they used to pack out like the Atlanta Coliseum, the Omni, all those things like that. And I was like, man, are these people still around? And the truth is they are still around. Whenever you see the AEW or the other national TV brand come to the city, that's when you see them. They come out. It's just that they did not know wrestling was happening outside of the stuff they see on national television. And we're trying to change that and make Atlanta a wrestling hotbed again.
Perfect. Well, I think it cut out there a little bit at the end, but I got the gist of what you're talking about. I mean, like bringing wrestling back to Atlanta, making it the hotbed again. Very exciting stuff. And as we speak right now, we're a little less than a month out from the show. You guys have announced a ton of talent and a ton of matches so far. Baron, while I got you here, just talk a little bit about some of the talent you guys have on this show, a lot of names that people will know, and kind of like the recruitment process. Like, what to you says, all right, this person is perfect for Terminus? Obviously people that you guys are close with and already friends with, but beyond that, like why you think X, Y, and Z, people like Moose and a lot of the other talent, Daniel Garcia, are perfect for a promotion like Terminus?
Pretty much, if you are an independent wrestler who is, has a passion, has a drive, and this is your everything, your goal, this is what you live for, then obviously Terminus is for you. There are individuals that you say we might have been close with, but they also share that same passion, that drive, that everything towards wrestling that me and John as a whole do as well. So you might see people that we might know, and then you'll see people that we don't know that very well, but we love their work. We love their passion, we love their drive. So it's not really pigeonholed to this one type of individual, one type of wrestler for Terminus. As you can see, there's a lot of people on the card who do different styles of wrestling.
John, can you talk a little bit about what Baron was kind of just going, talking about as far as the talent, how they fit the vision of Terminus, and kind of bringing people some names that they're not familiar with, some names that you guys might be familiar with, just kind of going off that in the selection process for who you want for this event.
Well, this part is a little bit of my vision for, the way I see wrestling should be.
Mm-hmm.
The world is round. Things come back around. The essence of professional wrestling is grappling. It is pro wrestling. We're not boxers. We're not kickboxers. We're not mixed martial artists. Our discipline is pro wrestling. And I feel like the industry has gotten so far away from what pro wrestling originally was. This is my attempt on kind of reeling it back in and going back to the origins of what this sport really is.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, I have collected and gathered some of the best wrestlers that have the same mindset. They can do the style. To me, styles makes fights. And for that to be seen, you need individuals with distinctive styles, distinctive disciplines that are in the pro wrestling industry,
Mm-hmm.
that are in the pro wrestling universe. So with that creates modern age grappling. So that's my vision kind of being, pushed through, and hopefully people will understand and it will resonate and be seen through modern age grappling. I feel for so many years, the pure technical wrestler has been suppressed because of this new instant gratification style of wrestling that is out now. And this is my attempt to give the pure technical wrestler a platform to stand on and retake and reclaim their rightful place in this industry, and as the top.
And right now, obviously, you're the Ring of Honor World Champion. But before that, for a solid year, you were the Ring of Honor Pure Champion, bringing that belt back, winning it, defending it in a variety of great matches for anyone who tuned into the ROH product up until a couple of months ago. Is this essentially like an extension of the Ring of Honor Pure division as it's kind of its own thing? Because you look at a lot of the people you guys have selected for the show, it kind of feels like a broader scale of the Pure division up until, Ring of Honor's current hiatus, just kind of as its own thing. That's what it kind of reminds me of personally.
Well, I know the feed cut out a little bit early, but there was some things that I said after the show went off air.
Yeah.
And basically what I said was that I am taking the heart and soul and the essence of Ring of Honor, and I'm taking it with me to Terminus. And that is the heart and soul. To me, the heart and soul of Ring of Honor is pure professional wrestling. And if Ring of Honor does not survive the hiatus and they do not come back, pure professional wrestling will have a home in Terminus. And that is the promise that I will keep. So yes, modern age grappling is, it does derive from pure wrestling. It's a huge influence on modern age grappling, but it is not modern age grappling. No.
Mm-hmm.
So pure wrestling and modern age grappling are two distinctively different things. So I believe the show will showcase both very well.
Very nice. And you mentioned it right there. The show cut off pretty quickly at the end there. I know it was like a time limit and at like 11 o'clock Eastern, it cut off immediately, but it was a great match between you and Lethal. Obviously, you winning the Ring of Honor World Championship and that great post-match celebration with the entire Ring of Honor roster surrounding the ring, which was awesome. Can you talk a little bit about what that night meant to you and how great that moment was of becoming the Ring of Honor World Champion?
I don't want to say this and sound braggadocious or anything, but I don't think there's a lot of people in the world that can say that they had a goal and they accomplished it. My goal when I started professional wrestling was to become a part of Ring of Honor. In the back of my mind, I always told myself I wanted to be Ring of Honor World Champion, but that wasn't the end all be all.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to be a part of a company that had influenced a generation of wrestlers. And after I became a part of Ring of Honor, I told myself that I had to continue to make small goals to keep progressing within the company. And at the end of the road, being Ring of Honor World Champion was still there. And as the pure division, came back and I became champion. And then, of course, I lost the championship to Josh Woods. There was only one more thing for me to do. And it's so wild how things just kind of come together with me becoming the Ring of Honor World Champion on what could possibly be the last show for Ring of Honor ever. So, it meant so much because it all came full circle. At the age of 33, I've accomplished everything that I've wanted to accomplish in the wrestling industry. And now I have to create new goals. So that's what's happening now.
Yeah, and it was a great way to go off and kind of end that era of Ring of Honor with you as the Ring of Honor World Champion, something that had been kind of been building, like you said, for a very long time. It was a goal of yours for a long time, culminated with that match and that moment. When did you find out about facing Lethal instead of Bandito? I know Bandito had COVID-19. He couldn't make the show. Last minute change. When did you find out about that? What was your reaction to facing someone that has meant a lot to your career as a former tag team partner of yours?
Again, it's full circle. Like I believe the story of Bandito and I will still continue down the road.
Yeah.
You know, for Lethal and I, like Lethal is the reason why I got a lot of opportunities in Ring of Honor from the get-go. The office didn't look at me as somebody to invest in until after Lethal came to me somewhere in 2017 or 18, I forget. But he said to me, "Hey, Gresh, I want to wrestle you." In my mind, I was thinking, yeah, right. Okay, he's just being nice. And I was like, oh, that'd be cool, man. You know, and then he walks away. We go our separate ways. Maybe a couple of shows later, he tells me, hey, man, we're going to work soon. And I was like, oh, really? And then all of a sudden it was announced. And we wrestled in North Carolina in an arena that I have been to several times. And after that match, I remember the office saying, we have to do that again.
Mm-hmm.
And within time, in that same year, we wrestled again. We had another good match. And then they had the wise idea to, in my hometown of Atlanta, Georgia, to allow me to challenge for the Ring of Honor World title against Lethal. And that was a television main event for that night. And Lethal and I wrestled a 30-minute Iron Man match. And that match kind of, I don't know, it kind of cemented my place within Ring of Honor. And after that, Lethal came to me and was like, hey, man, I think we should be partners and tag. And I was like, wow, this man is really taking me up under his wing and really like helping me become who I'm going to become in next. And I really appreciate that. So to wrestle him in the possible last show and for it to be for the original Ring of Honor World title, it's full circle because I love the original Ring of Honor World title. I love everything about, you know, Ring of Honor before they became corporate, and for, you know, Kerry Silkin to stand in the ring and hand me the Ring of Honor, the original Ring of Honor World title, the one that Samoa Joe held, James Gibson, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, these great athletes, all their fingerprints are still on that championship belt. And Kerry Silkin allowed me to hold that belt. It just means the world. And then to share that moment and that night with one of my best friends is just, it's a great memory that I'll never forget.
A lot of best friends in that ring. So you had just beaten Lethal. Obviously, Jordan was there too. She was there celebrating you. Great moment, great visual. Baron was there too. So Baron was right there celebrating with you. Baron, I'll throw it to you.
You're breaking my neck. Did you see that man grab me?
You were like, get off of me. I saw. Did you know it was him?
My neck. No, I didn't know who it was. All I felt was a sleeper wrap around my head. And I was like, I can't breathe. He literally took me all the way down. I love him, but good God, man.
I was going to ask, I was going to say, I saw your reaction. I'm like, did he know that was him or not? Because I'm thinking if he knew it was him, it looked like he thought it was a fan or something like that, but it was funny. Baron, I'll throw it to you. Talk a little bit about that night and rushing the ring afterward and just kind of sharing that moment with Jonathan when he became the Ring of Honor World Champion back at Final Battle.
Look, ain't nobody going to sit up here and act like I hurt you, because I didn't. Okay, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. My neck popped.
No, it did not pop. He's being overly dramatic, as usual. That's what he does. But the thing is that he doesn't understand what he accomplished. He understands it, but he doesn't understand it fully. You know what I mean? I mean, that was the first time I can remember that two African-American wrestlers made evented Final Battle. And I think this is the first African-American champion since Jay Lethal. So that was a big thing. And the representation matters. In that sense, it was a big thing for people to see. And he doesn't understand how huge that is. You don't understand how many people probably seen that and now decided they wanted to be professional wrestlers. Mm-hmm. You don't understand how many people probably seen that and believe that they can get to that pinnacle, to that top level of professional wrestling coming from our background. So, of course, I was a little bit overexcited for that moment to happen. And I just, gave him a little bit of hug, and he just overly dramatically sold it like he usually does. So, but it was a very, very big, important moment. It's weird because when you are growing up and you just watch wrestling and you're a fan of wrestling, and you'd be like, you know what, I'm gonna do that one day. You know what I'm saying? You just say, I'm gonna do it one day. You're just a huge Markish fan. You're marking out, you're watching TV all the time, every week, every Monday night, Thursday night, or whatever it was when you was growing up. And you're like, I'm gonna do that one day. You know what I mean? And then it's surreal for me to be working at AEW because I look back at it as like, 12-year-old me would not believe me right now. You know what I'm saying? 12-year-old me would not believe me. So to see him become the world champion, it's like you that can never be taken away from you. That is something that's always going to be there on the history book. So to see that moment is like, it's so surreal because all he did was talk about being the world champion. That's all you see him talking about. And I was like, hey, it can happen if you just continue to do what you do. So not only that, it was a prime example of no matter how many obstacles you get put in front of you, you keep moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
You keep moving forward. You find a way through to get to the goals that you want to do. He is the poster child of that. Maybe one day he'll speak about all the roadblocks he went up against to get to this point, but this is the prime example of F the haters. I'm going to continue to do what I want to do, and I'm going to get there the way I find a way to get there. And that's exactly what he did. So I was very excited for that moment.
And not only
my neck knows it too, bro.
And not only did it happen, but Baron, you were there obviously to see it firsthand in person. Did you know he was going to win the championship before he did, or did you find out with the rest of us?
It was a shock. I just knew that. I knew he was wrestling. I knew a wrestler that I look up to and love a lot, Jay Lethal, was wrestling. So I was like, this ain't go really much either way. So I don't know what's going to happen. Either result, I was going to be happy, but I definitely was going to be over ecstatic if he won and he did. So that was an organic reaction for me. Organic reaction.
That's great. Yeah, no, it made for an amazing moment at the end of that show. Like you said, John holding up that original Ring of Honor World Championship. Just it was awesome. It was great. And now going forward, like Ian Riccoboni said on commentary, you can bring that Ring of Honor World Championship pretty much anywhere, obviously including Terminus, New Japan Strong, pretty much anywhere. Can you talk a little bit about becoming the Ring of Honor World Champion and how this kind of further, so to speak, opens that forbidden door that a lot of people like to talk about? Ring of Honor for a while didn't really seem like it was a part of that. But now, with all the talent going forward, both Baron and yourself, we can see you guys in a variety of places now that you're the Ring of Honor World Champion.
I don't like to talk about the forbidden door. I don't really understand it fully.
Sure.
For me, I am just someone that dreams big, and if opportunity presents itself and I'm in the right place at the right time, of course, I'm going to grab it. I'm going to go for it. But my main goal is to keep producing my vision of professional wrestling, and the Ring of Honor World Championship allows me to do just that. After the feed went off, I also said that I was going to only defend the championship under Pure Wrestling rules. To me, Pure Wrestling rules is a way to give wrestling rules again. I feel like wrestling in every other company around the world, the wrestling rules are so relaxed. People complain about there not being heels anymore. Well, the reason for it not being heels is because there's no rules for the heels to break. So if there's no rules for the heels to break, there are no rules. There are no heels. So that means you're going to get heels doing things that good guys do. So now the line is blurred. So my goal is to show the world that heels and faces still exist. My goal is to show that rules needs to be implemented in professional wrestling. And the place that you can come to watch that is Ring of Honor or the Ring of Honor World Champion.
And so going forward, obviously Ring of Honor marking the hiatus with Final Battle. Is there any sort of obligation, since you are the world champion, that you have to appear in that April show that might be coming up? Or is it just kind of a wait and see approach for when it happens? Do you know even by this point, or is it hard to say?
I feel a sense of loyalty because my company has done so much for me before I even became a part of it. It changed my life,
Mm-hmm.
and it put me on a road. It gave me such a positive mindset It gave me a goal to go after, and because of it, I am standing here now talking to you. So I feel like I owe it to myself and Ring of Honor to wait until April to find out what's going to happen, what they're going to do, and I will defend the Ring of Honor Championship with pride and honor until I find out what's going to happen in April, and then I'll make my decision on what happens next.
You mentioned before you don't really fully understand. I don't know if any of us fully understand the contents of the Forbidden Door. So you may not be too interested in that type of thing. Are you more like focused on Terminus and Ring of Honor's future than you are maybe appearing there or talking with this promotion? Are you kind of focused on your own stuff for right now for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, I'm definitely just concentrating on my stuff. People want to talk about me being backstage at AEW. Literally, I was there to support my friend
Mm-hmm.
Baron and just to say hey to people that I haven't seen in a while. I wasn't there for a job. I wasn't there for anything in particular besides just saying hey to people. I still want to wait until April to see what Ring of Honor does, to see what I'm going to do next. So,
Yeah.
yeah, my focus is the Ring of Honor World Title, Terminus, and working towards April.
About 8-9 months ago, I was talking to, at this point, Bryan Danielson. He was at that point Daniel Bryan. I was asking him about kind of what we talked about before, the Forbidden Door and matches he wanted to have and stuff like that. And he was mentioning people from New Japan and all this other stuff. And it was cool to hear him mention Ring of Honor. This was back when he was still in WWE. And you don't have a lot of people mention, Ring of Honor names, but it was really cool to him mention you specifically. And obviously he's done a lot of interviews recently. I don't know if I started that bandwagon for him to be mentioning you as a dream opponent of his, which was cool. And I saw Jordan respond, and it was like right before your birthday too. And it worked out well timing wise. So to kind of transition to something positive, I do want to talk about this real quick. And when I heard him say your name, I'm like, dude, that would be an amazing match. And it continues to, when people ask him in interviews, I want Gresham, I want Gresham, I want Gresham. So just want to get your thoughts on that a little bit. And at some point, maybe facing him at whatever company, doesn't even really matter. Just talk a little bit about Bryan Danielson.
He was a tremendous influence on my career. Him, Cabana, Doug Williams. There's so many guys that had a huge influence on like the way I wrestle and my mindset with wrestling. So, and a lot of those guys I've met and I've been able to hang out with and wrestle with and travel with on the road. But he's the only one that I've never been able to really get a chance to know, meet, wrestle around with, and different things of that nature. And to hear him all of a sudden mention me and say that he would like to wrestle with me, I don't know. It's just, again, it's one of those full circle moments where it's just like, I never thought it would happen, and it's a possibility, and I really appreciate him bringing me up because I feel like him doing so brings a lot of attention to me and my career. So it's almost like he's giving back to the wrestling industry, and I can only hope that one day, if I'm ever in his position, I can, reach down and do the same thing for somebody else.
That's super cool. And like you said, at this point, it's a possibility. I mean, not to get anyone hopes up, but would he not be the perfect person for a place like Terminus? I feel like that promotion fits him exceptionally well.
Yeah, it would definitely fit him, but I highly doubt we have the budget to bring him in. There would literally be one match, So.
Hey, you never say never in the wrestling industry. Go ahead, Ben.
That's true.
I'm gonna say this: that match is going to happen. I don't know when. I don't know where. He keeps beating around the bush. I want it. The fans want it. It's going to happen.
I think it's going to happen too.
Destiny's
it's funny.
Going to put it together.
Yeah, it's
Destiny is going to make it happen.
No, it's more a matter of when than if, and I think we all look forward to that day. It was funny because when he had mentioned like your name, Gresham, and the same name and the same conversation is like an Okada and all these other people from various other promotions. It got me in some trouble when he started talking about, all these other people from different companies because he was still in WWE at that point. But I'm glad he had gotten, I'm glad we had talked about that because it was a great conversation to have, and it's a match that I think we all want to see. But on that note, my man, this has been great. Terminus, like I said, Sunday, January 16th, 2022, coming up in a few short weeks. Kroc Center, Atlanta, Georgia, 6 p.m. This has been great, guys. Baron, John, I really appreciate your time. Thanks so much, and I look forward to chatting with you guys down the road.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you for having us.